Nitai. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jai Gauranga. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivada Dari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Savior of the whole world is Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, Text 43 through 46, and we're going to emphasize and study Text 46, which is the final text of Chapter 4. Does everybody don't have it? Okay. Gosh, we're missing a lot of stuff today. Deity department was missing plates. Oh, there we go. We have a microphone.
Shukadev Goswami continued, thus having considered the instruction of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj, warrior of good intelligence because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune.
These demons, the followers of Kamsa, were expert at persecuting others, especially the Vaishnavas, and could assume any form they desire. After giving these demons permission to go everywhere and persecute the saintly persons, Kamsa entered his palace.
Surcharged with passion and ignorance, and not knowing what was good or bad for them, the Asuras, for whom impending death was waiting, began the persecution of the saintly persons.
My dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to higher planets will be destroyed.
Okay. There's no purport for 46, but should we still read it? Okay. Let's do. Okay. Let's do 43. What do you think? It's a longer purport. Shri Sukha Vacha Evam Durmandipi Kamsa. Is it up? Okay. Was I that bad? Saha Sumatria Durmati Brahma himsam hitam mene. Try that again. Brahma himsam hitam mene. Kala pasvrito suraha. Sri Sukha uvacha. Evam duram mitir bkamsya. Saha samatjaya durmataha. Brahma himsam hitam mene. Kala pasvrito suraha. Please repeat. Shri Sukha vacha. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Or shall we all read it together? Sri Sukha Uvacha, Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Evam, in this way, Durmantarbihi, his bad ministers, Kamsa, King Kamsa, Saha, along with Samamritya, after considering very elaborately, Durmati, without good intelligence, Brahmahimsam, persecution of the Brahmanas, Hitam, as the best way, Mene, accepted, Kalapasavritta, being bound by the rules and regulations of Yamaraj, Asuraha, because he was a demon. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, thus, having considered the instructions of his bad ministers, Kamsa, who was bound by the laws of Yamaraj, and devoid of good intelligence, because he was a demon, decided to persecute the saintly persons, the brahmanas, as the only way to achieve his own good fortune. Purport. Sri Lochan Das Thakur has sung, Apana karma bunje samana kahai lochana das. Instead of taking good instructions from the sages and the shastras, godless non-devotees act whimsically according to their own plans. Actually, however, no one has his own plans because everyone is bound by the laws of nature and must act according to his tendency in material life, in material conditional life. Therefore, one must change one's own decision and follow the decision of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Then one is rescued from punishment by Yamaraj. Kamsa was not uneducated. It appears from his talks with Vasudeva and Devaki that he knew all about the laws of nature. But because of his association with bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision about his welfare. Therefore, the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22.54 says, good, let's all say it. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastri Kai, Lava Mantra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hai. If one desires his real welfare, he must associate with devotees and saintly persons, and in this way rectify the material condition of his life. Om Jnana Tirandasya Jananjanan Salakaya Chakshu Melitam Jena Tasma Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobisham Shapisham Jena Bhutale Swam Rupa Karamaya Didanti Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master is opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Tamo Krishna Goswami Niti Namani. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Shatarine Vanchakalpatrubhaischa Kripasinamsevacha Patitana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. It's really cold outside, so thanks for tuning in or coming here and joining the class and being here to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we're so fortunate to have this beautiful explanation by Srila Prabhupada. We're in the 10th canto, chapter 4, the atrocities of King Kamsa. Kamsa was a pretty bad king, wasn't he? And he killed babies, right? Oh man, he was so scared. You know, he was told the eighth son, was it the eighth son of Devaki? You know, would be the person that would kill him. And so he was very confused, wasn't he? Kamsa serves a very important function in Krishna Lila, right? There has to be some bad guys. There has to be some good guys. If it was all good guys, what would how would we learn anything? So that's why Kamsa's so bad, and why these things happen. It's to thank you so much. It's to glorify Krishna and his qualities, his names, his forms, his pastimes, because they're so spectacular, right? Krishna is so amazing. Krishna's beauty and opulence and power and renunciation, everything, it's expanding. It doesn't have limits. And even Krishna himself is sometimes amazed at the how limitless his beauty is, his charm. Krishna is very charming. So he's distinct from like Narayan, Lord Narayan, right? Lord Narayan's very special, right? And he's very beautiful and he has pastimes. But Krishna's pastimes are full of Krishna's personal charm and his outstanding devotees. We can see him in the paintings in the temple room, right? The gopis, the gopas, the cows. Does Krishna just love the gopis and the gopas? No, he loves everybody, right? He loves the trees and creepers and flowers. And he loves the very, dust and dirt of Vrindavan. And Vrindavan is there for his pleasure. It's like practically a manifestation of Radharani, right? So we have, why do we need Kamsa in here? why can't Krishna just be he's the supreme enjoyer, right? Why does he have to have somebody like Kamsa in there? Does anybody want to say? Why is Kamsa part of Krishna's pastimes? You're a scholar, sadhu. Why is Kamsa there? What do you think? Why is Kamsa part of Krishna's pastimes? Yeah, it makes the pastimes what? Sweet, right. It's all about sweetness. Madhurya ras. Krishna is about sweetness. So, if Krishna can have a mother and a father, why can't he have like a bad uncle, right? Do we all have some bad uncles? I have some really bad uncles. I mean, they were really, really bad guys. They were as bad as Kamsa. They were bad. They were really bad. And so, I'm sorry to laugh. It's not funny. They were really horrible people. And so what you have is a problem of they're devoid of what? Good intelligence. They're devoid of devotee association. And so the purport is telling us that without devotee association, you can't make good decisions. You won't know what's right. You won't know what's wrong. You won't know how to achieve the ultimate goal of life, which is what? What's the ultimate goal of life? Right. What does Krishna Prema get you? Before we get to the really wonderful reason, what's like the most pressing problem we all have right now? Right, material bodies. We want liberation. We want to get out of the material world and stop suffering. And the interesting thing about liberation is that we don't seek to achieve liberation separately from bhakti, right? We just perform bhakti yoga, and liberation is standing outside the door begging for our attention. Liberation is achieved automatically as soon as you do devotional service. What? I don't feel very liberated, right? I'm going to go outside in the cold. It feels cold. I've got to eat. I got to take care of this body. Am I liberated? Because we're on the path of bhakti, we will achieve something that's way, way, way beyond liberation. Because liberation is just freedom from material suffering, right? That's all liberation is. And that's what the yogis want. So when the bogey yogis, what do they do? Not bogey, but when the yogis do what? The meditators, what do? They meditate on Brahman, right? And sometimes they get They can see undifferentiated oneness in the universe with their spiritual vision, their meditative visions. What are they looking at? What are they feeling pleasure from? Is it Krishna? Is it Super Soul? Is it Brahmajyoti? Yes, it's Brahmajyoti. Brahmajyoti, and the advanced yogis, well, they start out at Brahmajyoti, right? Then they get Paramatma realization. And that Paramatma realization makes them think, oh, I'm God. I can see God in my heart. Oh, that must be me. Oh, that's me. Hi, me. Oh, I must be God, right? But it's not. It's a trap. It's a trap. The super soul is there to instruct us and help us. And so part of the super soul appears as someone very special to help us. Who's that? The spiritual master. Super soul is literally an incarnation, or the spiritual master is literally, almost literally, a incarnation of super soul. Krishna's made this beautiful divine arrangement to give us Srila Prabhupada. He's everyone's guru. What kind of guru? Shiksha guru, right? He's everybody's Shiksha guru, instructing spiritual master. Do some of us also have a Diksha guru? Yeah. If we were alive when Prabhupada was here, we could take Prabhupada when Prabhupada was initiating. And if he accepted us, right? We could have Prabhupada as our Diksha guru. But Prabhupada has left the planet, right? So now we have to have Diksha, initiating spiritual master from a living person. So we're very fortunate. Many devotees here have spiritual masters. And they're in line with who? Srila Prabhupada, right? They come in a line from Prabhupada and Prabhupada's spiritual master and his spiritual master and his spiritual master. And this is an unbroken line. This is a special line called what? Was it? Parampara, yeah. What's our parampara called? Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya Ki. So, what's the point of having a sampradaya? What's the point of a spiritual master instructing his disciples, and amongst those disciples, some of them becoming spiritual masters? What's the dynamic there? It's association, isn't it? It's about association. It's about instruction. So this was Kamsa's big problem. Sukadev Goswami is explaining to us, having considered the instructions of his bad ministers. Did that word bad stick out to y'all? When I first saw it, it's like bad ministers, right? Y'all don't have pets, right? But when you grow up, when I grew up, my parents and friends had dogs and cats. They say, bad dog, right? To get it to behave, right? He had bad ministers. Did Kamsa go around and say, bad minister, I'm not going to listen to you? No. He was listening to bad ministers, right? What happens to us? Can we be influenced by bad ministers? Yeah. When we take shelter of Western entertainment. When we read books that aren't about Krishna consciousness. We are risking polluting ourselves, polluting our consciousness, right? So the idea is to have good association, then we have good intelligence, because all around us are demons, basically, right? Demons, demoniac mentality. Any person that's not trying to control their senses, not actively trying to control their senses by chanting Hare Krishna, is pretty much in a category of non-devotee. They're going to be subject to tremendous attraction to demoniac activities, right? And you don't have to drive very far to see it, do we? You can walk right over here. There's bars over here. There's stores that sell all kinds of intoxication and horrible food. There's meat eating. There's gambling. You pick up your phone. They're encouraging people now to gamble on their phones, on sporting events and stuff. It's so demoniac. And really, Prabhupada told us, he said, I'm so happy with my disciples and how hard you work for me and preach and carry on this movement. But he said there's one thing that you're not scared enough of. What was that? Maya, right. Prabhupada said there's only one thing I'm scared of. And I went, oh, Prabhupada, what could you be afraid of? Prabhupada, he goes, Maya. I'm a Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Shaktavesh Avatar, pure devotee of Krishna. There was no question of him ever forgetting Krishna, even for a moment. He never forgot Krishna. But he was scared of Maya, right? What about the example with Lord Chaitanya? Who is the personality that I think he just glanced at a lady, right? Who was he? Junior Haridas, Chota Haridas, yeah, Junior Haridas. Lord Chaitanya said, get away from me. I don't want your association. He felt so bad. He left the association of devotees. And he committed suicide. He left his body. Prabhupada said, we don't do that. That's not for us to do that. But Lord Chaitanya was so strict that that this was something that Junior Haridas would then appear to Lord Chaitanya in a form that he could sing, right? He could still sing bhajan for Lord Chaitanya. But even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, right? In the mood of Radharani, even Lord Chaitanya was amazed at how powerful Maya could be. Junior Haridas had the association of Krishna, right? Had the association of Lord Chaitanya, the bliss, everything, beautiful form. We can't imagine how beautiful Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu are. They're beautiful, beautiful boys. And to think that even with their association, he could still have found a way to be, that's how powerful Maya is. Why is Maya so powerful? Because it's Krishna's energy, right? Maya is very strong for a reason. She's here to make us stay here. Do you want to stay in the material world? No. But Maya's that strong. So we should be afraid. We should be very afraid. And so the Bhagavatam gives us an example, many examples, of persons that were too attached to the material world, too attached to enjoyment, too attached to the sense of themselves as a king, as an intelligent person. Oh, Kamsa was like, I have to rule my kingdom. I must take advice of these ministers. And what did the ministers tell him to do? Told him to persecute saintly persons, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. And so Kamsa didn't know any better. So he thought it was his only way to good fortune, right? He thought, oh, this is all I can do. And so if he had just had the ability to listen to some of the saintly persons around him, but then he wouldn't have been Kamsa, right? He had to be Kamsa. But Kamsa's there to show us we don't want the kind of Krishna consciousness that Kamsa had. Was Kamsa Krishna conscious? Who thinks he was? I vote yes. Who else? You want to change your vote? Do you want to change your vote? No, yes. Okay, why was Kamsa Krishna conscious? He was what? And what was the result of the fear, being in fear? Right. He was in fear of Krishna, so he was thinking about it all the time, right? What happens if you're scared of something? You think about it all the time, right? What if you have a job and you think you're going to get fired the next day? You're thinking about your boss the whole time, right? Is that a good way to think of Krishna? No, it wasn't a good way. So even though he said to be Krishna conscious, right? Because he was thinking of Krishna all the time, he was inimical to Krishna. He was against Krishna. So it wasn't the right way to think about Krishna. And so what happens in the material world when people get a lot of really bad karma and bad things happen to them? What do they say about God sometimes? What else do they do? They say God doesn't exist, or they blame him, right? That why is there so much bad in the world? Right? Why is all this bad things happening to good people? I'm a good person. Why is this bad happening to me? They blame God. Excuse me. So it's like that. It's similar to Kamsa. They think of God negatively. And they might really get angry and think about God a lot. But it's not the right way to think about God, right? What's the right way to think about Krishna? Favorably, yeah. I was thinking like as a father, right? Krishna's our father, right? Is he also our mother? How can Krishna be father and mother? Yeah, he can be everything. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. He's supplying everything. He created everything. I read something the other day that really blew my mind. Krishna owns our senses. Krishna is the controller of our senses. Wait a minute. No, I'm the controller of my senses, right? I'm going to go and try to walk somewhere and see some pretty sights and chant and be outside, or I'm going to take some delicious prasadam and enjoy that. Krishna owns our senses. That means he gives us a limited license to enjoy. Without the super soul, without Krishna, we can't even enjoy anything. We can't see without light. Who gives us the brains and the connection to the eyeball to the brain that we can see, we can meditate, we can think of things? Everything. Krishna has done everything. So the Bhagavatam is here to give us hope and give us instruction and give us these examples. And the historical examples is a nice way to learn things, right? Instead of just learning the philosophy, like what's the rule? Love God, follow his orders, right? Okay. Do we just repeat that? Do we come together and just say that every day? Love God, follow his orders. We do in a way, but Krishna knows we need more than that. So he gives us the Srimad Bhagavatam. He gives us his own pastimes. All of the things you see in the paintings, all of the pastimes that you can think of, and unlimited more pastimes. Krishna's pastimes are unlimited, right? They're all beautiful, fun. They're full of amazing juice, enjoyment, spiritual wonderfulness, right? And they're there so that we will learn, love God, and give up our desire to enjoy the material world. You know, that's what it's there for. So Krishna gives us these examples, these pastimes, in order for us to learn from it. And what is Krishna telling us to learn? Prabhupada's explaining to us how we can be rescued from punishment by Yamaraj. Who's Yamaraj? The Lord of Death. Yes. What happens when we die if we've been a bad person? Who sends us to hell first? Who sends us there? Who are the servants of Yamaraj? The Yamadutas. Ooh, they're ghastly, horrible. Did anybody? Yeah, anyway. They're not people you want to see, right? They're scary. They come and they grab the soul, right? And they take him to Yamaraj. And Yamaraj says, this is your punishment. You will go to hell. You'll take an animal, but whatever your punishment's going to be. We don't want to be punished by Yamaraj anymore. It's already happened to me enough, right? I want to I want to be rescued from further punishment by Yamaraj. So what does that mean? It means behave yourself. Start to follow these principles. Accept the principles of freedom. No meat, fish, or eggs. No gambling. No intoxication. No intercourse outside marriage. And every day, chant 16 rounds, Hare Krishna. And associate with who? Krishna's devotees. So we're all here. We're all associating together. So we're very fortunate we have each other's association. We can escape punishment from Yamaraj by devotee association. We must change our own decisions to try and enjoy ourselves, right, in the material world, to make our own plans for enjoyment, right? Everybody has plans. Is it okay to plan your life and plan, like, I want a career, like you want to be a doctor, or you're going to be an engineer, or you're going to be a police officer, right? It's okay to have plans, but you want the plans to be Krishna conscious, to help you with your ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious. You don't want just a plan to be like what? The mayor of Dallas, so you can get a lot of money and you can control things and you can tell people what to do, right? So you can boss everybody around. That's the plan, that's the negative plan we want to overcome. If we just keep on making plans like that, whimsically, godless, non-devotees, making their own plans. Instead, we take good instructions from the sages and the Shastras. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. No one has his own plans, actually, because everyone is bound by the laws of nature and must act according to his tendency in material, conditioned life. As long as we're conditioned in material existence, we're going to keep coming back and getting another body, right? So we have to become educated. Kamsa was not educated. So from his talks, Prabhupada says, it appears from his talks with Vasudeva and Devaki that he knew all about the laws of nature. So Kamsa was not educated about certain things, but he did have education. But because of his association with bad ministers, he could not make a clear decision about his welfare. Wow. Does that happen to us? Yeah, I still have trouble making clear decisions, right? Because we get confused. So what should we do when we can't make a clear decision? We don't know clearly what to do. What should we do? Yes, ask sadhu, guru, sadhu, shastra. Ask them for help. And then we can make a clear decision. And of course, Srila Prabhupada mentions Chaitanya Charitamrita, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kai. How important it is that if we desire our own real welfare, we will associate with devotees and saintly persons and rectify the material condition of life. Does that mean we have to wait to the end of this life to rectify our material condition? No, we can start right now. Prabhupada said you can be Krishna conscious right now. Prabhupada said if you just turn a little bit, just turn and look, Krishna's right there. And he said, Prabhupada warned us too. He said, don't, what did he say exactly? I want to quote it right. He said, this Krishna consciousness is actually pretty simple. It's very simple. He said, don't miss it. Don't miss Krishna in this. Because our tendency is to overthink things, right? We're in a material body. We have our minds are wonderful things. They're very powerful. But we don't want to overthink it. We want to get Krishna. We want to help others, and that's very important. The more that we help others to get Krishna, the more we get Krishna, right? But we also have our own responsibility to read, to study, to talk with each other, one-on-one, three-on-one, little groups, and read together and discuss. And then you can ask questions of each other. Say, well, I'm having this problem in life. I'm having this problem here. What should I do? What do you think? Krishna is in that. Krishna's there. He's so excited when we take the time to get together and talk about Krishna. And Krishna says, wherever my devotees are talking about me, I am there. Supreme Personality of Godhead is here, right now. Yeah. And you can recreate that anywhere you go. You can call up a friend and talk on the phone. Do a Zoom call. You can get together in your home or get together somewhere outside. Okay, if you have to go out and you want to go out and try to, whatever, in the material world, walk around, do something, Walk somewhere and meet a devotee and bring Bhagavad Gita and read together, right? Then Krishna will be there with you. What's another way you can keep Krishna with you all the time? Chanting, right? If you always have Krishna on your tongue, Krishna's there always, right? And so we know, obviously, we're in the temple room. So we have paintings of Krishna. We have the atmosphere of Krishna consciousness. Because who is here? The deity is here. Radhakala Chenji are here. Gaur Nitai are here. Chota Radhakala Chenji are here. Radha Govinda are here. Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Devi are here. Why so many Krishnas? Why are there so many deities? I'm sorry, I'm always picking on the kids. You know. But anybody can say, why so many forms of Krishna? There's lots of reasons. What's the first one? Krishna's unlimited, right? Krishna can do what he wants. Is he limited to one form? Yeah, he just wants to be a guy with glasses and a big beard, writing down all our sins, right? And oh, woe, why did I create all these people? All they do is commit sins. Send them to hell, you know. Is that God? Is that what he does? That's what a lot of Christians think. That's what a lot of people think, that God is just keeping track of our sins and just waiting for the minute he can punish us. You know, can't wait. You've been bad, you know. No, you know, God's not like that. He's loving. Can light ever overcome darkness? I'm sorry, can darkness ever overcome light? No, why? Because darkness is the absence of light, right? That means light always wins. That means eventually good will always win. Good is represented by the spiritual. Krishna is completely spiritual. But let's just talk about material world. Light versus dark, good versus bad, the duality of the material world. The spiritual knowledge and spiritual energy is totally above all the material, right? The dualities. But even in the material world, darkness can't win. Isn't that amazing? Think about it. Darkness doesn't ever overcome light. Darkness flees. Whenever there's the tiniest light, there's no more darkness. And so that's proof that even in the material world, Krishna made it that evil is not going to win out in the end, because Krishna created material energy. So even we might be here for a very long time as souls inside material bodies, but eventually we're going to get out, right? Well, maybe. Do you want to wait another? Do we want more births and have to try and enjoy ourselves? No. Let's not take a chance. So we have this knowledge, and that by applying it in our lives, it was very interesting. We have just a minute in the previous purport. Prabhupada says, I'll just read the purport. The demigods and the Vaishnavas especially are part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, because they are always obedient to his orders. The demoniac followers of Kamsa thought that if the Vaishnavas, saintly persons and sages, were persecuted, the original body of Vishnu would naturally be destroyed. Thus, they decided to suppress Vaishnavism. The Asuras perpetually struggle to persecute the Vaishnavas because they do not want Vaishnavism to spread. Vaishnavas preach only devotional service, not encouraging karmis, jnanis, and yogis, because if one must liberate oneself from material conditioned life, one must ultimately become a Vaishnava. Our Krishna consciousness movement is directed with this understanding. Therefore, the Asuras always try to suppress it. We got some work to do, huh? We have things pretty easy right now, but there's no guarantee that it'll always be that way. What if ICE starts coming for devotees? What if they declare any religion that's not the state religion illegal? They do that in some countries on this planet. You're persecuted if you try to. My daughter and I, we were looking at we were talking about, what's the name of the country? There's the island nation that's, it's just south and west of like India and Sri Lanka, and it's in danger of being overwhelmed by those rising seas. Srila Prabhupada went there. I don't know that. Mauritius. Yeah, I think it's Mauritius. Yeah, I think it's Mauritius. It's 100% Muslim. It's part of their constitution that you have to be a Muslim in order to live there. Now, you can be there as a worker or as a tourist, and you're allowed to practice, but it has to be kept, under wraps. There's already 3 or 4 countries that are 100% Muslim, and it is against the law for Muslims in that country to convert to a different religion on pain of death. Yeah. That's their beliefs, but I'm just saying that we really, I think, are taking it for granted how lucky we are. We should remember how lucky we are that we can practice Krishna conscious freely. The devotees could go out last night, right, on Friday and do Harinam, right, on Greenville Avenue in Dallas, Texas. We can still do that legally. That may not always be available. Even, look what was happening. Prabhupada's telling us they will always try to suppress Vaishnavism because Vaishnavas only preach devotional service. We don't say, have a little fun too, right? Some religions throw that in. Well, believe in this, but have a little fun too. So, boy, we're so lucky. Sorry for let's end on a more positive note. Not only is Krishna consciousness, like chanting Hare Krishna, is both the means and the ends. Isn't that cool? Like we're doing right now what we're going to do when we're pure devotees. Deity worship, chanting Hare Krishna. You chant Hare Krishna in order to chant Hare Krishna. What's the reward for devotional service? Yeah. More devotional service. That is the only reward for devotional service. Why? Because if Krishna gave you something besides devotional service for your devotional service, he'd be cheating you, right? He'd be giving you something that would divert your attention. Oh, you want to be as wealthy as Musk. You want to be as wealthy as all the rich men of the world. You want to be a powerful leader. Is that? Do you ever get that for devotional service? Do we want that in our heart? Sometimes we still have dirty things in our heart, right? We have unwanted things. So Krishna has to clean that out. But Krishna's not going to give us something unless he will satisfy our material desires. But he will do it in such a way that we will lose the desire for that thing. So let's hope that we don't all have to be some kind of rich, powerful person, right? We've already done that. We've been there, we've done that already, past lifetimes. We don't need to take birth again and get rid of this tendency to try and enjoy in this manner. So Krishna is going to just give us more devotional service. What's my problem is when more devotional service comes, I say, nah, I don't want to do that now. Nah, I'm tired. My wife will ask me, do you want to do this service? Do you want to do that? Nah, I don't want to do it. Devotees in the hallway, will you give class? Nah, I don't want to give class. Thank God for the pure devotee, for our Goswami here. Talk me into, say, just give class. Okay. The reward, because I got to dress deities today. I got to dress Gaura Nitai. I'll tell you, when I was first on the altar, Lord Nityananda was there, and he just, his head was turned in such a way, he just looked so beautiful. Sometimes you'll see you see the deities, but sometimes you'll see them in a way in your mind, or something will happen, and you'll see how very, very beautiful they are. Exquisitely beautiful. And because they're no longer metal, stone, wood. They're in those forms so we can worship them because we're in the material world. And we have to worship with awe and reverence, right? But one day, we're going to be spontaneous in our love for Krishna. It'd be much more spontaneous. So always look at the deities and have a relationship with them. And when you're really fortunate, get second initiation and go on the altar and worship the deities. Prabhupada said many times, disciples that ask, Prabhupada, who are the best devotees? What's the best service? And Prabhupada would say, oh, easy, Pujari. Pujari? They were all his Sankirtan men were there, right? The book distributors. So they thought Prabhupada would say, well, the best service to me is book distribution. And it is. It is. Spreading Krishna consciousness. But he said, in order to understand Krishna, the best service is Pujari. He said these pujaris are actually doing the same things they will do in the spiritual world for Krishna. And we can do it now. I was thinking of that. You know, you undress the Lord, you get him ready, you put him in a bathing tray, you put nice warm water over him, you wash him. You've done a bunch of things before that, you do more things. Then you dress him. And there's all rules and regulations. You know, you go through prayers, and they're called mula mantras. Did you know about mula mantras? You chant special mantras when you offer the deity. They're easy to learn. They're really easy. I thought it was going to be hard, but they're easy. And then it's a whole thing. And you're like, wow, I just spent 2 hours with Gaurnitai, Radha Kalachandji, Radha Govinda. You can't, unless you're really up close, I mean like this close, really, a foot away, you can't believe how beautiful Radha Govinda are. They are stunningly beautiful deities. Radha Kalachandji, same thing. When you're on the altar and you're dressing Kalachandji, you can't get lost in his face or you won't get anything done. And it's easy to do that because you're right there and you're like, oh my God, I'm right in front of Kalachandji. He's so beautiful. Look at the details of his face and the lines. And then you go, oh God, time. Oh, I just blew 20 minutes. Because you almost like swoon in ecstasy. You get in a little lost and you're thinking about some pastime or something. You know, man, you can't do that. You can't be a pujari and start daydreaming. You got to be on the ball, right? Because deity worship is, Prabhupada said, 1 hour's business. An hour or two before to get ready. But, pretty much you can do it 1 hour on the altar. But we take longer out of love and affection, and we want to do things nice. So we get 2 hours. And so look at how gorgeous they are. How did that happen? Krishna looks like this. I watched the Mataji do it. I was right there to the left. She did this in 2 hours, and transformative. Took the old outfit off, put the new outfit on, and look how he looks. Who else looks like? Have you ever even imagined anyone could look like Kalachandji? Who can wear all those things in his head? And look beautiful. We don't have any comparison in the material world. People try. They try to. What do? They wear sunglasses and they comb their hair. They slick it back. Some models or something. I think they look nice. Krishna, goodness, it's unbelievable. And that's not even. I'm not even scratched the surface of Radharani. I mean, come on. She's like She's a confidential personality, right? Did anybody know about Radharani before he came to the temple? No. I knew about God. I want to know who God is, right? But God has an eternal female consort. God has a blissful Ladini Shakti energy. That's his love personified. Yes. We are all little sparks of that love. We are all little tiny spiritual sparks. Radharani, big spark, big fire. Krishna, big fire. They're big. We're little tiny, but we're all lovers of Krishna. And Radharani is our instructor for how we can come back to the Father and how we can learn how to worship and love the Father again. Because we left, right? We left the spiritual world. So sorry, I'm getting off track a little bit. But there's so many, one of the other reasons there's so many different deities is so much mercy is coming out, right? Krishna appears as Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Devi. It's unbelievable, isn't it? The story of how Jagannath manifests, you know? Krishna is walking by and he hears his queens in Dwarka talking about the Vrindavan pastimes. And just overhearing them talking about Vrindavan pastimes, because he's in Dwarka and he's missing the devotees in Vrindavan, he goes into this ecstatic condition, right? His arms go in his body, his body gets wider, and his eyes get really huge in this ecstasy of hearing about himself in Vrindavan, right? And who sees that? Of course, Subhadra and Baladev. But who sees that? Narad Muni comes. What does he do? He sees, and what does he do to get, what does he say to Krishna later? And he says, I want you to share this form with the world. Please. I've seen it. Because Krishna says to him at one point, I'm really pleased with you, Narada Muni. You have to ask for a boon or a benefit. Narada Muni says, I don't want anything, Lord, just pure devotional service. I don't want anything. And so the Lord presses him, no, I want you to ask for something. So he says, okay, that form that you exhibited that day that I saw with you and your sister and brother and your eyes were, would you show that form to the whole world? Krishna says, okay. And then he comes as Lord Jagannath with the log and into Yuma Maharaj. You know the story of that. So, and of course, Jagannath is our Lord of the universe. And Jagannath comes out of the altar and he gets on a little mini altar on wheels, right? The Rath Yatra cart. It's a mini temple. And he goes out to have a drive, a fun time. To do what? Reclaim all the souls. He's reclaiming all the souls. We put the Rath cart on a trailer one time, and we trailered it in a parade because we couldn't push the cart fast enough in the parade, right? And so we had it on a trailer, and I was feeling sick. I usually like to dance at the cart, and so, but I was on the cart for some reason. I think I was sick, and so I was on the cart, and I was in the back. You know, the pujaris in the front taking care of the Lord. But as I looked out, and as the cart would roll along, people would be doing what they were doing, you know, silly, sinful activities or just trying to enjoy themselves, looking at the other floats as they go by. But then when they would see the Rath Yatra cart on the float, on the trailer being towed, they would all stop. It just was like a wave, and people would just be stunned a little bit to see the giant canopy and the forms of the Lord. If they were lucky, they got to see that. But even if they didn't, just seeing the cart, right? Just seeing the cart. Jagannath said, you're mine. You belong to me now. No more sense enjoyment. You're coming out of the material world eventually, right? Eventually. That's what Jagannath does when he gets on his cart at Rath Yatra. He claims everybody. I could see it. I could see him do it. It was amazing. And the person just seeing the cart, that's it. Their material life is over. So we're fortunate. They're fortunate. So let's keep being fortunate. Sorry I got overran things here. Any comments or questions? So I was a little bit impromptu and scattershot. You know, it's just shooting all over the place. So sorry. Talked about a lot of stuff.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for giving last minute class.
Thanks for asking.
This point about Kamsa trying to protect himself from death, we have a verse, we have examples like what is the anyway? So we have devotees who completely depend on Krishna, and they don't even try to protect themselves when they are persecuted. And here we have Kamsa, who's the other opposite. In the face of death, he's trying to kill the Brahmanas, kill Vishnu. So in between that, we have this verse that I was trying to pull up in 10:1:48. As long as he has intelligence and bodily strength, an intelligent person must try to avoid death. This is the duty of every embodied person. That's Canto 10 itself, 148. So if we read this and we say, well, Kamsa is intelligent and he's trying to defend himself and protect himself and avoid death. So what is he doing wrong?
Because he knows Krishna's going to kill him. So the question, let's pick apart the question a little more. The supposition is all embodied persons have to protect themselves, right? That's
That was the
scriptural injunction.
Yeah, as long as we have intelligence and bodily strength, an intelligent person must try to avoid death. This is the duty of every embodied person.
Avoid death.
Maybe you were saying that in the verse when you were saying, like, association, and at this time, like, who do you turn to? Who do you associate and get intelligence, to support your decisions? Whereas Kamsa went to the demons to say, okay, how do I protect myself? Is that where he went fundamentally wrong?
Yeah, because the devotees know they don't have to worry about defending themselves if they're Krishna conscious. They know that Krishna's in charge, and that if Krishna wants to take me out today, fine. If he wants me to live longer, okay. They're happy either way. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Prabhupada was like that. He was on an airplane, the airplane's flying along, suddenly it loses altitude, loses 10,000 feet. It just practically nosedive. Everybody thought they were going to die. Everybody's screaming, and then the plane levels out. And so the devotees run from the back of the plane to the front of the plane and say, Prabhupada, are you okay? Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He's like, we can leave at any moment. We can go at any moment. He wasn't upset at all. We can go at any moment. And he had a personal relationship with Krishna, right? So I think that's the fearlessness of a pure devotee, and that they do take care of their body. Like Prabhupada didn't neglect his body, right? He knew he had to eat, he had to exercise, he took massage, he took Ayurvedic medicine to prolong his body's health so that he could preach more for us, So it's the same. But Prabhupada was ready. Even if he didn't go to the West, I think Prabhupada was ready. He had done what he needed to do, But of course, it was prescribed by his guru, go to the West. So it happened. But I think the relationship between a pure devotee and Krishna is extremely sweet and mysterious. It's mysterious. Like the pure devotee will know Krishna fully and be totally in love with Krishna. But it doesn't mean Krishna tells him everything, right? Prabhupada said that. He goes, sometimes I have a general idea of what's going to happen, but like Prabhupada knew there'd be so many temples, right, in his future, and he could see it all. He was talking to somebody he was sitting on a park bench in New York City, right, and like in Central Park. He said, I know it's all there in the future. But he didn't know exactly how it was going to manifest, right? Or exactly when, or exactly what. So the pure devotee is this relationship. It's like that for us. We can't give up our duties to protect our body, right? Got to eat, take care of it, sleep. Don't sleep too much. Don't sleep too little. Don't eat too much. Don't eat too little, right? And then if we sort of like hold up our end of the bargain, we can be satisfied and feel secure that Krishna will take care of us too, right? Like all of us, how do we get this far in life? How do we all get here? Come on, really think about it. Goswami over here, he's traveled the world. He's been everywhere. He knows all the incredible devotees in the past, big, huge, amazing devotees, advanced devotees. His whole life, he's been serving them for years and years and years. But Who took care of him? How did he eat enough? How did he get clothes? How did he travel? How did he get money? Did we, or did it come because my boss gave me the money? My parents took care of me for a while, and then I did it all myself? No. Krishna did everything. How come we got through school? How come we got a degree? How come we got jobs? How we got money? How do we get married? How do we meet our spouse? How do we have children? How do we get the kids we had? It's all Krishna. It's amazing, actually. Because I'm 62, I look back on it and I just scratch my head. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's that way for all of us. You just have to be open to it. You just have to be ready. Just accept it. But you got to hold up your end of the bargain. Get a guru. Surrender. Follow the instructions of the spiritual master. But get plugged into the Guru Parampara, you know. There's disciples of Srila Prabhupada you can surrender to and get a guru. And you can be Prabhupada's grand disciple. Right? You can be a disciple of Prabhupada, right? We're grand disciples of Prabhupada because our spiritual masters were disciples. So the disciples of the disciples, and Prabhupada said this very clearly before he left, they will be grand disciples and they will be your disciples, you know, meaning his disciples that become gurus then. They will be the new gurus. And then, and it works, right? But I'm sorry, I get off track. We have a duty to our own bodies. We don't go and do Sankirtan at 2 a.m. in a dangerous neighborhood, right? We just know. It's dangerous. So we use our intelligence, and so Kamsa, it was the bad advice, and he had to be Kamsa, right? But he also he had a little bit of knowledge, and so sometimes that little bit of knowledge is like, it's not enough. You know, we got to get more. Was that satisfying?